Hello and welcome to this session in which we will discuss security awareness. The importance of safeguarding the company's asset, whether they are digital or physical, extend beyond just the IT department. Yes, the IT department are responsible for our IT infrastructure, but all employees are really responsible for protecting the company's asset. And employees are usually the first line of defense. Why? Because they are dealing with this situation on a regular basis. And cyber attacks are continually growing in complexity and frequency. They're constantly changing. So to counter this threat of cyber attacks, cybersecurity attacks, it's important for organizations to focus and allocate resources towards security awareness. What's security awareness? Educating the employee, making them aware of the risk in this evolving landscape. And this is what we will discuss in this session. How do companies carry security awareness? How do they make everyone aware of it? Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com. Farhat Accounting Lectures is a supplemental educational tool that's going to help you with your CPA exam preparation as well as your accounting courses. My CPA material is aligned with your CPA review course such as Becker, Roger, Wiley, Gleam, Miles. My accounting courses are aligned with your accounting courses broken down by chapter and topics. My resources consist of lectures, multiple choice questions, true-false questions, as well as exercises. Go ahead, start your free trial today. So the objective of security awareness is to ensure that all employees are up to date. Because remember, the threat is constantly changing. So what you taught them, for example, let's assume you held a cybersecurity training last year. Well, this year, the threat have changed. A month later, it might change. So they have to be up to date with the most cybersecurity challenges and strategies to mitigate them, to be able to recognize them, notify the appropriate authority, and mitigate them if necessary. So security awareness training is a core component of this program, not just advisable. So you have to have security awareness because employees, they are not vested, they are not knowledgeable in cybersecurity. So as a company, you have to make them aware of that threat. So it's often required also by security standards and regulation. For example, NIST required training, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, HIPAA, and SOC 2. They all emphasize the importance of training your employees. So the objective is to make the employees aware of this threat and how to mitigate this threat. Now, how do companies deliver the training? How do they deliver the awareness? Well, the ways in which the organization provide IT security training can vary significantly depending what is the budget, how big is the company, is it mostly online, not online, so on and so forth. So some companies might choose to outsource this training altogether. They don't want to deal with training. They might rely on an external company, on an external provider to supply the necessary knowledge and material. Here, because none of our people specialize in this, let's outsource this to a consultant. Others might handle this internally. We do have a great IT department. The people are vested in this process. They're competent. They're up to date. Therefore, we develop our own content and training program. And many organizations, what they do is they find a middle ground, combining in-house, which is company training, with a third-party tool and content, which is we may not know everything. Let's also ask for help. When it comes to delivering the training, there's a range of format. Obviously, we can do this online. We can do this in person. We can do this in groups. We can do this. We can deliver the material to specific individual. We can conduct it online, live, remote, a combination, or on demand at their own convenience. So the method of delivery should be flexible nowadays. So the type of training can depend on a variety of factors, including the nature of the information being shared. Do you think it's necessary to have this in person to kind of illustrate the importance of it? How many employees will be attending, and the logistical capability of the organization? Do we have enough office space to hold those training? How about if our employees were all remote in different states, in different countries? How are we going to do this? How about the training material? How are we going to deliver to them the training, the material, the concept? To evaluate the effectiveness of the training session, organization might use various forms of assessment. So, okay, yes, we're gonna tell them about the cybersecurity. We're gonna give them on-demand or live session. Then we're gonna quiz them to test their knowledge and retention. We are going to provide exams for more comprehensive understanding. We might provide case studies to apply learning in hypothetical situation, or we might have simulation to replicate real-world situation and make sure the employees are comfortable with what we taught them. It's also important for the organization to review on a regular basis and update their training method, because again, what is applicable today may not be good for a month from now. And this ensures that training remain effective and up to date with the latest cybersecurity threat and best practices that's constantly changing. Also, you want to keep a documentation of how training courses are planned and delivered, because you want to see what you did, how things are progressing. And this documentation helps in maintaining consistency across training sessions. So if you bring a new trainer, they see what they did in the prior session and provide the valuable data for evaluating the effectiveness of the training program. Now in the next session, we're going to look at the effectiveness a little bit more. Now, we don't treat all employees the same. What does that mean? In the context of cybersecurity awareness, employees can generally be categorized into three distinct groups based on their responsibilities. We could have managers, we could have IT people, and we could have an umbrella, all other employees other than managers and IT people. Management or manager. This group is responsible for overarching aspect of the security awareness program. They're managers, they want to see the big picture. Their responsibility include the creation and evaluation of these programs because they are aware of the big picture, or managing the relationship with external vendors who are brought in to develop and conduct training. Because managers, they're aware of the internal control of the processes. That's what they would do. Practically or essentially, management ensures that security awareness training aligned with the organization goals, with the organization processes, with the organization internal control, and it complies with relevant regulation, because we assume here that managers, as a manager, you should be aware of the relevant regulation. Then we have the specialized IT personnel or the IT people. This category consists of individuals with specific technical roles. These people are technical, they work in the IT, that directly relate to the implementation and enforcement of the organization's security policies. Those are the people that implement and develop those security policies for us. The role would include network security engineers who's focused on protecting the organization network. They might be penetration testers. They actively seek out vulnerabilities in the system. They're very familiar with our security landscape, our security environment. Or they might be incident response analysts who handle security breaches, and compliance analysts who ensure that the organization meet all relevant security standards and regulation. Now, bear in mind that these are the professionals that they are on the front line of applying what's taught in the security awareness program. So these are the people that execute what's in the training, because that's their job. Their job is to protect the network. Their job is to do penetration testing. Their job is to look at incident response and analyze it. Then we have the third group is all other employees. This is a broad category that encompasses everyone that doesn't fall in the first two groups. Those employees are expected to adhere to follow security practices and protocol that are relevant to their specific job function. The employees will have different job functions, therefore they might need different training depending on the department that you work in. They may not be involved in the technical aspect of cybersecurity because the IT people are. The role is in maintaining security is crucial, because this is the group that perpetrators might try to penetrate in order to get to the IT people. So those are, you would say, maybe they could be a weak link in the organization. By following established procedures and remaining vigilant against potential security, they can help fortify the organization overall security position. Now, training should start day one and it should be continuous. So security training is essential for all employees, starting with the first day and throughout their tenure with the organization. And this process began with initial security training when we hire a new employee, where employees are introduced to the basic security policies and procedures. Then we have to follow this for the employee as they advance in the company and keep their knowledge up to date. At a minimum, refresher courses should be provided annually, if not more often, to let the staff members remain aware of the latest security threat and best practices. Also, we might have to provide customized training depending on the individual role or department. So training content should be customized based on the employee's specific job roles. For most employees, this means focusing on security practices that pertain to their everyday activity. Because if something is not relevant to you, we should not waste time or resources training you on something that you don't deal with. Example of such training might include how to recognize phishing emails, which are fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information. I would say phishing email should apply to all because all employees will have email, or the correct use of VPNs, virtual public network, a private network. So not all employees might use virtual private network, employees who access the company's data from the outside. Well, if you're one of these employees, we gotta show you how to use the VPN and how to use it securely. So these topics are relevant to a wide range of employees, providing them with the knowledge needed to avoid common security pitfalls. Other customized training, well, employees in specialized role may require more in-depth and targeted training. So some employees, you might even have to give them different training and more in-depth or more targeted training. This is because the responsibilities involve handling complex aspects of the organization's security. Think of an individual working in IT security that might need training on the disaster recovery procedures to prepare for and manage potential data breaches or system outage. You don't provide this training to everyone. You provide this training to maybe IT people who might have to handle this type of situation. And the training will be more in-depth and targeted to this group. Also, those involved in compliance, to make sure we are always in compliance, especially if our industry is heavily regulated, like in the health industry, or if we're handling customers of European citizen, well, they might have to be educated on any new or updated regulation that affect the organization to make sure our practices are in line with legal requirements, otherwise we'll get into trouble. That's also a form of customized training. So by tailoring training to the specific needs of each employee, organization can ensure that all staff have the necessary knowledge and skills to contribute to the company overall position. And this approach not only helps to protect the organization from potential threat, but also ensure that employees feel confident because now we're giving them the resources, the knowledge, and their ability to contribute to a security working environment. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. A healthcare organization needs to ensure that its staff complies with HIPAA regulation, so we are looking at a specific regulation. Which group of employees should receive specialized training specifically on patient data privacy and security measures? Okay, so this is specialized training specifically on patient data and for a specific industry. Is it all employees regardless of their role? It's not a bad idea, but it's very inefficient and ineffective. And maybe some employees, they don't deal with HIPAA. So if all employees deal with the health record of patient, then yes. But some employees it may not be relevant to them in any way, shape, or form. This will waste resources. I would say A is out. Only the IT department staff. Definitely the IT department staff will need to be aware of how to protect patient data privacy, but they should not be the only group. So B is out. Management and administrative staff only. No, you might have to do operation or people that handles this. It doesn't have to be only management and administration. C is out. So by process of elimination, D is the correct answer. Healthcare providers and staff handling patient information. I would say definitely staff handling patient information and healthcare providers. They need to know the rules about HIPAA and how patient data can be protected. So the answer is D. D as in David. What should you do now? You want to go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional MCQs. That's going to help you whether you are studying for your CPA exam or accounting courses. Invest in yourself. Good luck. Study hard and, of course, stay safe.